All right, welcome back to Podcast Recovery, everybody. We are your hosts, David O.
And Eric B.
Today we are joined by our very special guest, Shane. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Good, man.
Cool.
Glad to have you back, man. It's been a while.
It's been too long.
Fucking nice.
It's been years since I've seen you.
I need to reconnect. That's the problem.
Yeah. Where are you originally from?
Originally from Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
All right. And when were you first introduced to recovery?
Probably at age 18, I'd say.
All right. How old are you now?
I am 30. I'm 30 this year.
No, I'm older than you? Fuck.
Oh.
I'm a year older than Shane. Fuck me. And how much clean time do you have?
A little over 8 years now. Nice. Sobriety date's in February, so February will be my 9th year.
I'm sorry, sober time. How much sober time do you have?
It's all good. It's all good.
All right. Well, with all that out of the way, how are you, Eric? How have you been?
What?
He just had his appendix taken out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, man.
It's a little bit better.
It's going better?
A little inconvenience.
How's the sitting doing? It's all right?
How's the what?
The sitting.
The sitting's a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That sucked.
Yeah.
See, now it's fine. You know? So it's not as bad as it was.
All right.
A little bit better.
Good. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Back to our speaker. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it to you. Share your story with us, brother.
All right. Sounds good. Name's Shane. Again, sobriety date, February 21st, 2010. I do all that fun stuff that we do.
Yeah.
And, a little bit, I always do what it was like, what happened, what it's like now. Mm-hmm. With all the housekeeping out of the way, I grew up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, really small town. If you've heard of it, it's probably because of Little League Baseball. Little League World Series is played there.
Oh, I knew I knew I'd heard of that fucking place. I was like, Williamsport, it sounds familiar.
Yeah. That's about all we're known for.
That's about it.
So I grew up, born and raised there. Again, not much to do there. I'm an only child, lived out in the boonies. Mm-hmm. Kind of a perfect storm cocktail of setting me up to use and drink by myself. So that's kind of how it started. And
that's Eric's dream.
Yeah.
Using by yourself.
Always.
Yeah, you don't have to share that.
That's
and you don't have to entertain people. I mean,
but you got to entertain your cats, and
they don't ask much.
That's true.
No, just a little little drink here and there, a little snack, a little treat. Yeah. So, I started out, in my family, drinking and partying was normal. That was the norm.
Yep.
Like, everybody drank, everybody partied. Mm-hmm. 4th of July weekend, people partied, people drank.
Oh, yeah.
New Year's Eve, people partied, people drank.
Yep.
5-year-old's birthday, we partied and we drank. Yeah.
That's so weird. It is.
Like, that was the norm, though. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
the norm
thing
around here, too.
Like, it's like, it sounds weird, like, to a normal person. I call them the quote-unquote normal earth people. Like, it's weird. Like, it's like, oh, this is a 5-year-old's birthday party. Why is everybody sloshed? Yeah. But everybody was sloshed all the time. My aunts, uncles, cousins all had beer on tap in their house. Oh, yeah. Like, fully stocked all the time. That's all they did. Yeah. And I was like, I would go over to friends' houses and be like, you guys have like a kegerator we can drink out of? And they're like, what's that? Yeah. And I'm like, these people are weird. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it just set up that whole, like, the norm of when you did something, you drank or you partied. Drugs were kind of like, my cousins would get involved, and then, drugs were like the tisk thing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, I want to try those because I have brilliant ideas, right? Yeah. But like, I was getting into high school, and I met this girl from Allentown. I had done like these trips, these student ambassador trips that you get selected for if you like are awesome at school, and I was pretty awesome at school. Like, I was really good at school. Honors classes. Never applied myself, of course, because why would you do that? Like, that's just pointless.
Fuck that.
But like, I met this girl in Allentown, and I went out to see her a couple times, and I was like, I want to be part of the cool. Like, she was smoking pot and doing all the fun stuff and drinking with her friends and smoking cigarettes. She got me into smoking cigarettes. It just kind of spiraled, and it was just like, all right, now I'm going to do this. I came back home, and I was like, all right, I'm going to be a pothead, and like, I'm going to be badass. Like, that was my goal. Be badass, be cool.
Yes, that's the John Bender. Like an A.
Yeah.
Like, be badass.
Yes.
Do badass things, and then be accepted. Because like that was my goal, was to be accepted. Always, for me, never really, you hear the story 1,000 times. Like, never felt like I fit in, but like I literally, like, I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin.
Yep.
Unless I was under the influence. And so I started, like, I was buying pot in school, and I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I'd come home and I'd smoke pot alone, because it's like, what normal addicts, alcoholics do.
Yeah.
We do this, the shit alone. Can I cuss?
Yeah. Fuck
Okay.
yeah.
Sweet.
Fuck yes.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking
All
curse,
right,
dude.
I'm like, wait, hold on.
I think family program. What the fuck?
I think that's like a little bit of the program rubbing off on me. It's like, all right, I gotta watch my language, and I'm like, fuck no, I don't. These guys are fucking cool. All right, so fuck yeah, shit.
Smoking alone.
Smoking pot alone.
Yeah.
I hated smoking pot, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time made me paranoid. Super paranoid. I think I might have even, like, told on myself one time to my parents that I smoked pot, because I was so paranoid. Like, it was crazy.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, like, that was like an actual thing that I don't think they took me seriously.
How was school, Shane? I'm high as fuck.
Yeah, like, I'm way too high, and they're like, what? And I'm like, nothing. I'm going like in my room.
Yeah.
I'll be out in like 4 hours. But yeah, it made me super paranoid. I was like, this kind of sucks. Like, this isn't really what I'm all about. I had drank here and there, like, as a younger kid, and at the ripe age of 12, I'm kicking back Budweisers in Canada with the family fishing trip. It's like, that's just what you do. So I was like, pot kind of sucks. And then I was like 14 or 15, and I wanted to be like the cool druggy kid for some reason. Well, what is that? Like, who like, I just wanted to be like this cool stoner guy. Like, I messed up, fucked up today. And I was always like super paranoid to like smoke pot in or before school.
Yeah.
So I never did it. And all my friends would go to school high, and I'd be like, man, I want to come to school high sometimes. And so I was 14 or 15. My dad got surgery on his knee. He had knee surgery. And we're going deep here. This is deep.
Yeah, we go deep tracks. Deep tracks only.
Yeah. So this is real deep stuff. Dad got surgery on his knee, and he's crazy. My dad's a nut. He still works. He's like 70 years old, and he still cuts wood, chainsaw.
Nice.
He's a nut job.
Salt of the earth guy.
Yeah. This is like winter of, when I'm 14 or 15. I don't even remember what year it was. Probably like 2000.
Early 2000s.
3-ish?
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah. It was about 2003. And he got out of surgery, and he's like trying to shovel snow and do all this stuff. And I'm like, you're nuts. And he's like, that's fine. I'll just, take one of these pills if I hurt too bad. But he's like not the guy to like, he's like never smoked weed, which I still to this day I don't understand. And I kind of like found out why later on when I did a 9-step with him. And it was interesting. It was an interesting story. But anyhow, he's like, yeah, he's one of those normal people that like they take pain medication and they're like, oh, it makes me feel funny, I don't want to take it anymore.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I flushed it down the toilet. And I'm like, no, why?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
that's
You had
why?
perks? You
Yeah.
flushed them down the toilet? Are you fucking
Do you know
insane?
how much those are worth?
Right? I was like, it's not just the feeling you get off them, but the money. So first experience with any type of opiate was the ripe age of 14. Taking my dad's Percocet because somebody at school was like, yo, this stuff will mess you up. I took that that very first pill. All right, I remember this vividly. I'm a fat kid. I love cake. I love pizza. Do not remember my first experiences with pizza with cake.
No.
I remember my first experience with Percocet. And I was like, all right, took that. About 20 minutes later, I'm like, I want to feel like this all the time. I'm like, not knowing that that's like not a normal response to anything.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to feel like this all the time. And I spent the better part of the next 2 or 3 years doing that, getting in heavy trouble, graduating up the line. Never fully really graduated to heroin, but like was on that line where I was like here doing methadone here, and then I was like, Oxycontin, and I was like, I can't get any, and I was like, I would do anything, literally anything I could. So like experimented here and there, but never really like completely crossed that line. And I was getting into a hell of a lot of trouble too, because I was buying from kids who got caught in school.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought all my drugs in school. And it was like, that's like the worst place to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because not only do they kick you out of school, then they put you on probation. So
Yeah.
I think I still hold the record for getting expelled. I got expelled twice from my school, once in my junior year, and then 2 or 3 weeks into my senior year.
Wow.
All revolved around pills, revolved around opiates.
Was it the same school?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So they brought you back.
They let me come back. The first time they sent me to this they called it after hours program, which is they took all the kids that got kicked out of school for like drugs and fighting,
and they put them in the
dumb
same
shit.
fucking room.
They put them in the same room. We didn't have to be there until like noon. We were only there until like 3.
That is a
You
terrible
got some good
idea.
connections.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, right?
That's all that is.
They literally put me in the same rooms with like people that could get me stuff and people I had used with. So I'm like, all we did, and I was driving at this time. All I did, like, woke up for noon school, go get high, and then just it was awful. I was like, why would they do that?
Yeah, that's such a terrible plan.
So that was the first time I got kicked out. And then they let me come back, and like I had it made, right? So I said like, I do pretty well, smarts wise, and I had half days, and I was taking a college course at Penn College, and like I didn't learn my lesson. My parents were like, they thought that because like at this time I had done some damage to my back. And was prescribed medication, they didn't really see it as a problem. And, they only prescribed me like Tylenol 3, but like I was, banging like 40 milligram oxys at this, that was just, I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm fine. The Tylenols are working great.
It's the Tylenol. And, so like they didn't see it like that there was a huge problem there. And I still, was just getting high.
Yep.
And then I had it made, like I had college classes in the afternoon at Penn College, and I would go to high school half days. And I was like, all right, this is cool. Like this is just like the best schedule ever. Had my own car. I was like, I was set. I was set in terms of high school. And get in trouble again, get popped again. And this one was the like, you have a problem, like first place where it was like apparent you have an issue. And I went into the principal's office. Mom and dad are sitting there. They have the police officer there, and then they have the principal there, and it was just like everything was laid out on the table, and I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm not going to get out of this one.
No.
Like, I'm not going to get out of this one's not going to be like, oh yeah, my back hurts.
How did you get caught? Did they bring in the dogs?
No. So there was a guy that I was buying pills from who ran away from home.
Oh.
And when he came back, the cops questioned him. Of course, he'd been absent from school for so long. And like he just got into a ton of trouble and just like spewed everything like what he did, because he sold me his mom's like complete stash, and I'm just like, oh man,
Yeah.
And I found out about it before it happened, so it was one of those things where like I was waiting to get in trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I had to tell him all. I was like, you what? I was like, dude, I held that resentment forever. And I was like, now I'm like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, fuck
I
that
was
guy.
like, fuck that guy. That guy's a fucking asshole. I was so mad when it happened. I was like, how the fuck did Kevin do this? And blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And, but it, now it's like, it is what it is. Had it not happened, I probably wouldn't have figured out how to like manipulate my way out of these situations.
Yeah.
So again, this is like, so I'm like 17, almost 18, my first like real introduction to any type of recovery at all. And, my parents were like, is this a problem? And I'm like, yeah, it was a really bad problem. It was a daily habit at that point. And, I don't know how I afforded it being in high school. And I was,
Yeah.
I was up there, but somehow I did it. And, we do what we do to get what we get. But, I'm like, this is a problem. So they kicked me out of school. I went and got my GED. Well, I started going to these classes down at the career place so I could get my actual diploma.
Oh, okay.
It was really weird how it was set up in Pennsylvania. Like, you had to pass the GED test with a certain score, but you had to have so many classroom hours as well.
Huh.
So I just went down to this place called Career Link. Literally, like, I could pass the test blindfolded with an arm behind my back.
Yeah.
Stoned, because I had been doing it for so long. I could do this. And so I just sat there and read books. And, I had kind of gotten the taste of like what like full sobriety, like fully being clean felt like, but I had like no recovery or meetings or anything to back that up, or program, whatever. I went to an IOP because I couldn't, they were looking through my insurance, and like I couldn't, at no point could I have afforded to go inpatient. Yeah. If I did, I'd still probably be paying for it. So detox in the house with the parents. Oh my God, it was a miserable experience too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, so miserable. And I have a bad back. So like, it felt like somebody took a screwdriver and stuck it in my back and just started turning it and twisting it. And I'm like, oh man, this is awful. This is the worst.
Yeah.
And so it was not fun. But I learned like in this period, and I was like, okay, so if I get my shit together, and people start to like, they're like, oh, he's doing all right. He's got his shit together. And I maybe had like a couple months total of like complete abstinence, like just complete like total abstinence. And then like we're all graduating from high school. I'm getting ready to go to college. Well, they were graduating from high school. I graduated back in January. But like all my friends in my, in my friends group, they're like, oh, we're getting ready to graduate. Go to college. And I'm like, I'm graduating. I'm going to college. I deserve that experience. I was like, I think I can drink. I think I can handle that. And my counselor was like, no, you can't. She's like, you're an addict. You can't do anything. And I'm like, nah, but like I can drink though. And she's like, no. And I think that's a lot like what my, like in sobriety, what has kind of continued to motivate me, because I see those people that like, maybe they did drugs and, now they're just like, oh, I can still drink. Or they get that misconception, like after so many years of being clean, being sober, they're like, oh, I'm just going to drink. Like, I can't do that. Right? I know from experience. I know from doing this. And that's what I did. I drank. I went out to a couple parties. Got sloshed. I remember like very specifically one of the like in a party environment, the first time I'd been drunk. And there was like 5, 6, I don't know, maybe 7 of us drinking. And like at this time, like I'm playing like the, I used to be addicted to drugs and now I'm not. Like I'm a Pax Prentice.
Oh God. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
I'm like, I used to be addicted. Now I'm not. And it's like, no, you're an idiot. You're still drinking. But it was funny. Like I ran with that lie for a long time. And so I went to this party and I was drinking. But like there's 4 or 5 of us, and I remember there's like a single fifth of Bacardi rum, and I'm like, I'm gonna drink that whole bottle. I'm like, fuck y'all. I'm gonna drink that whole bottle. That shit is mine tonight. And I was like, we had the Coke, we had the limes, and I got sloshed and drunk, and it was a mess. It was just messy.
Oh, yeah.
But I drank quite a bit of that bottle.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. And that became like the new thing. Like
Eric's fucking cringing over here. He's like,
Last time I had Bacardi wasn't good, so yeah.
oh man.
Bacardi's usually not a good time.
No.
I can't really think of good times with Bacardi, actually.
When has that ever happened? Does that happen for
Bacardi
people?
Wait, do
151.
people actually have a good time when they drink those liquors?
I don't know.
Because like all the liquors that I ever drank,
Yeah.
especially now, like, okay, so like another story. I'm gonna get way off track here.
Whatever.
But I love it.
Yeah,
it's fine.
fuck yeah.
I've dated, like, in sobriety, dated people that still drink and go out and party
Yeah.
and stuff. Like normal, they normal people. And my ex-girlfriend, we were out one time, and we think we were down in like Fells Point. Yeah, we were down in Fells Point somewhere, and she was out with her friends, and I'm like hanging out there, pretty much babysitting them all.
Yeah, that's gotta be weird.
Yeah, it was just really strange. Like anytime I go down into the city with like one of my normal friends from like work or something like that, it's like the most awkward experience, especially down in like Federal Hill and Fells Point, where people are like, "You're not drinking," and then it's like, I don't want to have to explain this to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm taking a night off, right? But anyhow, her girlfriend spills Jägermeister all over the bar. I drank Jaeger like it was water in college.
Oh god.
That's kind of normal.
Yeah.
That's like a normal college experience, though. I feel like
Jaeger. Fuck
Yeah.
Jaeger.
like Jaeger bombs were like. I feel like those were at every college party I went to.
Yeah, that was
You
the
know what I
norm.
mean?
That was the norm.
That was like,
Yes.
but it tastes like absolute shit.
Oh, it's so bad. It tastes like fucking cough syrup. Like,
tasting
why do I
alcohol.
like this?
Why?
And we're like, yeah, we're going to do Jaeger bombs. And I'm like, yeah. And my best friend got married one time, and we destroyed a handle of it in like 3 or 4 rounds of Jaeger bombs. And I'm like, where's the Jaeger at? And it's like, dude, we killed that already. And I'm like, whatever, we got capped it, like it's the worst tasting shit ever, but I'm just like, Jaeger. And there's this cover band I used to go see too back in Williamsport. The dude had a Jaeger tattoo across his forearm, would go on stage with a bottle of Jaeger, and I remember like being wasted in the crowd. This is when I'm finally 21 and able to drink too,
Yep.
Well, legally in bars,
yes.
because I've drank in bar. Like, dude, I'm from Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Like, I'd walk into a bar and be like, "Yo, let me get that," and they'd be like, "All right, cool."
Yeah.
But anyhow, like, yeah. So this guy would have a bottle of Jaeger, and the one time he would pour cups for people, like little, like half of a shot for people, like a little plastic cup. So the one time I'm there, and like I'd seen his band multiple times. I'm singing along to every song. I'm drinking, I'm steadily drinking Yingling the entire night. So I'm feeling pretty toasty.
The Pennsylvania regular.
Yeah, it was Yingling, it was lager and Jaeger. And that's how I got down. That's how it gets down.
Yep.
And he poured like he filled an entire cup with it, and he was passing it to me in the audience. And I felt so cool,
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yeah,
I'm that guy.
I forget I think it was Joe Bachman and the Crew is the band. Great band, great cover. They do a lot of covers of like Tool and Cranberries, and like it's sick. They do awesome songs.
Nice.
And he's trying to hand this to me through the crowd, and some girl tries to take it, and he's like,
Yeah,
he's like, no, it's for him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I got this big. So I don't know, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
All right. The point is, it's terrible. It's like Rumplemans. All right.
I fucking love
Do you
Rumplemans.
drink Rumplemans for the taste?
Yes, it's a candy cane in a shot. For the record, anybody out there who loves Captain Bacardi, Jägermeister, or Rumplemans, please get yourself to a meeting ASAP.
Yes, please.
If you enjoy those things, you probably have a fucking problem.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So anyhow, oh man, where did we get off on that?
Where did we?
So you were at college,
Yes, it
and
was.
you were drinking 151. That's where we left
Did you
off.
say 151?
I did drink a lot of 151 in college.
Yeah.
This was okay.
yeah,
So before
Bacardi.
college
Okay, Bacardi.
was just Bacardi.
Yes,
It was
right.
regular Bacardi silver. And I was like, okay, this drinking thing, and I got that same feeling that I did when I would take like opiates or take pills. And like a lot of people say like the chemical reactions and the way that it fires off your dopamine receptors and all that other stuff is very similar. And I studied all this, and now I forget all of it because I'm like, computers all day.
Just Google magic.
Yeah, I'm just like, let me Google. But yeah, so like I became addicted to alcohol the way in the party scene, and like that lifestyle, that college lifestyle that I thought was like the typical college lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like you go to a college campus, it's not like they portray in the movies where it's like there's just like like tonight there's a party and it's just a banger party, you know, and just everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
And all the girls are 10s and like you know all that crap.
Yes, it doesn't happen.
All that garbage, bro. That's like. And then, you know, everybody gets laid, you know.
American
like
Pie was a fucking sham.
Right. And like those movies are such a sham, or like, you know, it wasn't like that at all. But
No.
it was, like, I got back in, like, I knew deep down, like, I should not be treating my body like this. Like, I shouldn't be drinking. The way I am, it's not, you know, because I know how I react with drugs.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, for me, it's like everything's lumped all together. And it was fine. Like for a while, everything was cool. And that's the worst thing. Like the worst thing, you hear people that go out and they relapse and they come back and they're like, I took the first drink, or I took the first drug, and the worst thing that ever could have happened was nothing. You know, it's like, oh, I can handle this. So that's kind of like, you know, without being introduced to like a program or anything, I was just like, yeah, I'm fine. I can handle this. You know, 4 years later, I'm craving a drink every day. 4 years later, I'm waking up in the morning saying, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm not going to drive my car drunk. You know, I'm not going to treat my body the way I've been treating it, because I was destroying myself. I mean, the amount that I was drinking, like I was very much a binge drinker. Just because like I wanted that feeling instantaneously.
Yep.
I was like, this isn't fun anymore. And I can't do this. I'm not going to do it. And by like the end of the day, I'm cracking a beer open, you know, because it was just, well, you know, at that point, that's what we were doing. You know, I was in a relationship. Have you ever been drunk through an entire relationship?
Oh yeah.
Like, fucked
drunk
up.
and just fucked up.
Yeah,
entirely.
like drunk and
Yes.
fucked up through an entire relation. And you just wake up one day and you're like, the fuck?
Yeah. Who are you?
So like I dated this girl because her house was the party house.
Oh,
and
wow.
she,
Nice.
Like I
understand
dated
that.
for, you know, it was only a couple months, but still I was drunk the entire fucking relationship.
Yeah.
And I did it because it was like Thursday night we were going over to Jackie's house. Friday night we're going to Jackie's house and we're going to somebody else's house, you know?
Yep.
That was what it was. But it's like, you know, we're great friends and everything, and it's not, you know, it wasn't like ended really badly.
Yeah.
She got back with like her ex-fiance, who was also like her stepbrother. All right. Listen.
Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Williamsport. This was actually like even further out in Pennsylvania. Like, I was like, this guy, so your
Like
mom
west
is
and
married.
north, like Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like northwest. Like
Okay.
you start going out towards like from Williamsport
Where
to
like
Scranton,
Allegheny
Wilkes-Barre.
National like Park is kind of out there.
No, it's where like God, where was she from? Like where exactly? Yeah, it was like northwest PA.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like that far out, but it was like between Williamsport and like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, and it's mountainous up there.
Yes.
It's
it
very
is.
West
I mean,
Virginia up there.
Scranton's really all you really needed to say.
Yeah.
It's grand. Yep.
But yeah, like, you know, just, and I'm doing this stuff, and like I got into a bunch of other relationships because like I thought those things would fix me too. That's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah.
But I was doing this every day. You know, I said like I'm not going to be an asshole today. I said some things to my ex-girlfriend before I got sober that like I looked back on like a couple weeks ago, because I was, you know, I'm doing like this, I do inventories every now and then, like do a yearly house cleaning. And I'm like, and I just think about things randomly some days.
yeah.
I'm like, and I said it to myself out loud, what I said to her. And I was like,
Oh god.
that's fucked up.
Yeah.
like the first time, like it took like, you know, however many years. Because when I first got sober, I was like, dude, I was just joking around. It was a joke. Come on, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it was a prank, bro. You know? And she's like, no, like she left me over what I said to her and like some of the things I said to her. And it's like, it was a combination, like being intoxicated and just being wrapped up in that lifestyle. And just, that's all I knew. So it's like the perfect, like, really, like, I don't know how, I call it the perfect, like, moment of clarity experience. Like, nothing really, like before happened. Like, it wasn't like I got arrested.
Yep.
It wasn't like my parents found out how bad I was, because I told them how bad I was. I was like, I need to stop drinking. My mom's like, okay. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to the bar. I'll see you later. You know? I did that one day. That's actually a thing that happened. I was like, I think I have a problem with drinking just like I did with drugs. And she's like, well, you know, if you feel like that. Meanwhile, she's got like a tall, it's weird how that worked too. She's got like a tall glass of wine, red wine, Riunite with like ice cubes in it and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, and she's not an alcoholic. My parents aren't alcoholics. Like, I would not classify them as that. My aunts and uncles, yeah.
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 Yep.
Yeah, y'all need to go to a meeting, you know? Like, but, yeah, so they're not alcoholics, but like, I would say that, and I knew it. I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like anything, like I said, didn't lose anything, but I'd hit like my bottom, you know, where I'm like, I feel worthless. I feel awful every day. And then the experience I had the very last night I drank was like kind of what set it over the edge. And this whole entire time is like my senior year of college. So I have an internship for most of the week, and I was going to school to be a social worker, and I was going to school to be a drug and alcohol.
I was just about to
drug and
ask you
alcohol
that.
counselor. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. I mean, I had a problem with drugs. Now I don't. You know, very much like back to that whole mentality.
Fucking passages.
I lived that lie for, like I said, I was saying that before. I lived that lie for a long time, and you know, I was going to school for that. Like, that's what I wanted to do. So I'm interning at a rehab for adolescents. That's, oh my God, that was crazy.
Oh,
just
yeah.
in and of itself.
Yep.
But I was like, you know, I can help people. I can, you know, I've gotten through some tough times. Meanwhile, I'm still going through, you know, and
Oh, yeah.
and getting wasted every weekend and you know during the week too. So perfect storm. My last experience drinking / using / everything. I was living at home at this point because when you spend most of your money on booze,
Yep.
you can't really afford to live
Yeah.
away from home. So
That's just expensive.
yeah,
Like, people think it's like a cheap fucking drug. It is not.
it's not.
No. Bar
mean-
tabs get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The bar tab
Yeah.
was ridiculous. I mean, I could easily. I dated somebody that lived down in Pittsburgh.
I'm sorry.
This was my ex. I know. And it was like, let me just like preface
It's
all
Steelers.
y'all.
It's Steelers week here in Baltimore, so
It's
I had to
Steelers.
say that.
It's definitely Steelers. It was definitely Steelers country out
Oh,
there,
yeah.
and I'm very nonpartisan when it comes to that whole
Yeah.
argument because I like the Broncos. So
What?
yeah, it's just weird.
I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
You're not,
I don't like it. I don't like
Giants
LA,
or
but-
like Philly.
No, just the Broncos.
Thank God.
I mean, I can I dig Philly a little bit more than I dig like the Steelers, but
All right.
you know,
That's fair.
I don't know. I just always been a Denver Broncos fan. My dad was, so I was like,
Okay.
I'm part of that.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
that makes sense.
Okay,
And I want to be different from everybody, you know, be
Yeah.
edgy and different.
Be rebel.
I liked them before they were cool.
I'm a rebel. Yeah.
So I was dating a girl out in Pittsburgh, and the bar tab. Oh my God, the bar tabs out there were insane. We go to like South Street or like Station Square, and I would buy rounds for her and like all of her friends, like all of us, of shots, and like that shit was. I was like, I'd look at my credit card statement, and I'd be like, oops.
Yeah. Fuck.
You know, like, and that's what we did. We drank and we partied, you know, and that's what we did out there. We would go to clubs. I fucking hate clubs.
Yep.
By the way,
Yeah.
like, this
Share
is
that
like my
shit.
first real club experience, We went to this club in Pittsburgh in Station Square called Zen. All right. And it was like your typical club.
Oh, yes.
It was like they had bottle service, and we had gone there a few times. You know, her friends and their like sugar daddy boyfriends are doing coke behind the bar, and like
Nice.
and like
Cool.
that was never my scene. So
No.
like luckily I never drew into that.
Yeah.
But I very well could have. I was like, that's kind of cool. No, you know, I can't do
Yeah.
that. Let me just drink my beer, you know. But I'm very much like the darkest, dingiest, hole in the wall like bar where
yeah.
the drinks are cheap. Like, give me that spot. This place sucked. All right, fuck this place.
Yeah.
We went there for New Year's Eve one year. I mean, I was sloshed when I got there, but they're like, "You want to start popping bottles tonight?" And I'm like, well, "Let me see the bottle list." And it was just like, I think the cheapest bottle was like $300. I'm like, that's
my-
gonna be a hard no for me, and I just
Yeah.
handed it back to her.
Yeah.
You know.
Fuck that.
And I had to wait, like, when you have to wait a half an hour to use the men's room, there's a fucking problem, all right? Like, can I go outside and piss behind the fence
Well, I mean,
somewhere?
people are doing coke in the bathroom.
Yeah.
So that's
That's why.
you gotta.
All
take
I'm
that into
picturing is
consideration.
American. I'm just picturing American Psycho right now. Anybody? No? When they're doing the coke in the bathroom?
I have
This-
bad
it's-
experiences from like clubs, like,
Oh, yeah,
working in
clubs
like the
suck dick,
nightlife
dude.
scene, and it's just like they are so like the
They're
worst.
gross.
Like I got one of the worst illnesses I've ever had because I was shooting photography in the club.
I'm sure,
and, like,
dude.
The next week was like, I don't know.
You go there for a drink and you leave with a staph infection.
Yeah, you leave with MRSA. Like, you don't know how fucking dirty it is because it's
So
dark,
gross.
you know?
It's so gross.
It's so disgusting. But anyhow, like, you know, so this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going through. And the whole time I'm just like, I just don't want to live this life anymore.
Yep.
So the last night I go out to drink, I went out and went back to my old college town, which is Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, which is half an hour from my house and even smaller than Williamsport. So you're going further west by a half an hour. And, you know, you're getting into like almost Penn State College area.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that gives
yeah.
me a reference point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So like
He knows that.
we're like half an hour. Like it's pretty much directly between Williamsport and State College.
Okay.
And so, you know, this is a tiny school, Lock Haven University of Pennsylvania. Tiny school, maybe 3,000 students.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's really small.
Yeah. Something like that. Everybody knew it. It was a lot of fun. I loved college,
Oh,
by
yeah.
the way. I just didn't love what I was doing to myself. So, and everybody was like, "Dude, you have a problem." And I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm good. Don't worry about it." Nah, dude.
I got
As you're
this.
studying to be like an addiction counselor.
Yeah, I'm studying to be an addictions counselor, and I'm like talking this good game in class.
I'm just doing
and
a
then,
lot
like,
of fucking research, okay?
And I'm going to, and I'm going to like class with. I've had like I had a professor that was in recovery. This is so crazy, and like I would go to his class, like hungover as piss. It was Friday morning at 9 a.m. and I was just reeking of booze. And I'd go to his class, and he was in a sober fellowship, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what this guy thinks of me. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna be an addictions counselor. You know, whatever. And
Peers.
okay, I'm gonna get to this last night of drinking. If
Eventually.
it kills me eventually. So the perfect storm of like those moments where like it's like a moment of clarity. So I walk in to the liquor store in Lock Haven, Pennsylvania, and we're drinking Jose Cuervo. Okay, listen.
Never good.
Never good.
Also
I wanted
never
to have a fucking adventure. Every time I drink
yeah.
Jose,
Jose.
Yeah, Jose will take you there.
Yeah.
you will have a fucking adventure, all right? And the few times I wanted to have a good time, I just, you know,
Those are two different bottles. Having an adventure and having a fucking good time are two different things.
yeah. I thought they were the same thing.
Yes,
but they
we've
weren't.
been there.
Yeah,
No, yep. That's what 30 will do to you. You learn that distinction.
yeah. You're like, oh yeah, that was crazy. Because like I had these like fucking crazy adventures, college party adventures, drinking Jose Cuervo, and I would just like end up at random parties and be like, this is awesome, or I'd end up at like one of the fraternity houses that wanted to that had me pledged to that fraternity, and I would end up there getting free drinks and free beer, and like the sorority girls are there. I'm like, yes, I've arrived, and then I'm like, wake up the next morning, I'm like, what the fuck happened?
This place sucks.
It's like, you were at KDR last night. I was like, really? Fucking cool. Like, I didn't know, and then I'd see people in the hall, and they'd be like, yo, what's up, dude? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. So anyhow, last night, go to the liquor store, drinking Jose Cuervo. I go to reach for the pint that's on the shelf. I'm like, I'm gonna get a pint, just for me.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for it, and I'm like, this isn't gonna be enough. That's my thought. That's the thought that runs through my head.
Oh.
And I kind of like stop for a second, and I'm like, that's not a normal thought. Normal people don't think like that.
Yeah.
They don't grab a bottle of booze and think this isn't gonna be enough.
Yeah.
For the record, it wasn't enough, and we went to the bar later that night.
Yeah, of course.
But I bought it anyhow, and I'm going out of the liquor store, and I see one of my old dealers in the liquor store, and I just like completely avoid him. Like, let me turn this other way, and I talk to my friends and stuff like that. So we start taking shots at my friend's house. My MO with Jose Cuervo is to take as many shots as I can in an hour's period.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, just ride it out.
The power hour.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And I had done this before, and that's another funny story.
Oh, God.
But, like, I did that. And, there's, like, this point of just, like, we went to this place called the Fallon House, which was, like, the worst. Like, it was kind of a club. They had quarter drafts on Thursday nights.
Sweet.
Holy shit.
Quarter drafts, dude. You could throw $1 on the bar and be like, let's go. And they had Yingling on tap, too.
Oh, shit.
So I'd be like, 4 Yings, 4 Yings,
Okay.
4 Yings,
Fucking $5 and you're fucking king dick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they were like the little cups, but still, I mean, they're draft beer.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, give me the beer. So I go to this place called the Fountain, and they try to be a club. So they had the test tube shots.
Oh.
The $1 tube shots. And like, I'm so wasted at this point. And I just gotten out of a relationship with my ex at this time. So I'm like on the prowl. Oh. And it was bad. It was just a mess, dude.
Just that statement is creepy.
It was a mess. So like we're at this place. I buy an entire rack of shots. I call the bartender like the wrong name like 7 times. Like she's a really cute girl, and I'm like, and they're like, that's not her name, dude. And I'm like, that's not it either. I'm hitting on everything that walks. Nothing, just one of those things where like nothing's happening, and it's just like I got to the point where like I blacked out. I got back to my friend's house. Passed out on the couch, woke up the next morning, and like when I'm saying like I have depression, so like I fight with that daily. Mm-hmm. I woke up the most depressed I'd ever been in my entire life. On his couch, came to. It's just wrecking your equipment.
I know.
Sorry,
it's just
I'm
like
just destroying the studio right now.
The deepest, darkest hole, and I'm just like, I hadn't made a decision at that point, but like I was at the end of my rope. I was like this, like I just didn't want to live that lifestyle anymore. Having like those moments of clarity the night before and being like, this is shitty. Like this is dumb. And the way I felt about myself, I think was the worst part. I felt like I was just a piece of shit, and like I had carried that around for so long, and like. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like the day after and like the weeks to come, I was like, if I continue to do this, I'm going to die. I'm either going to kill myself or the booze is going to do it for me.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Like it's either that or I get sober and try the sober thing out. Because like, again, I'd been introduced, didn't want to take any suggestions.
Yep.
Didn't want to go to any meetings. They were telling me like you're powerless, and then you need a higher power in your life and all this other stuff, and I'm like, bro, you're so full of shit. You're so full. I don't need a sponsor. I don't need any of that crap. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, I was like, I can't do this anymore, and I was like, it's sinking in me like if you're living a lie too. You're telling these people that you're trying to help a lie about yourself too, and Yeah, I was like, I was at the end. The next week, like, I went back the next week to my college town to hang out with my friends. They're all sitting around a table drinking beer, which is like what we did, you know?
That's normal.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to drink tonight. Like, I'm not going to drink, and then I'm going to drive home. I'm going to just hang out, and then, socialize, do that thing. I was so fucking miserable. Like, just sitting there, like, especially, like, early, like, just not even any recovery, just early sobriety. Like, sober for a week and just sitting there watching people drink was the most miserable thing I've ever fucking experienced in my life.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, I should have a beer. And I was like, no, I'm just going to go home. Like, and that's what I did. I'm just going to go home. And I just went home and I was like, something has to change here. And I went back to seeing a counselor. I was still toying with the idea of going to meetings. And, so I went and saw this counselor who was a knockout, by the way. I just remembered this. Now I'm breaking shit. I'm just
You got really excited there.
yeah, I got really excited.
I got really excited.
down the tubes.
An attractive therapist was the way to go.
Oh, hell yeah. That'll help you get clean.
And she wasn't like in recovery or anything too, which was fine. Like, I was like,
Perfect.
She doesn't know anything about recovery. Maybe she'll let me drink, because that's what in the back of my head, I was like, yes, I'm just gonna drink eventually.
You're still trying to rationalize being able to drink. Yeah.
And I'm like, well, let me go to this, the addict fellowship, and let me see if they have to still drink, right? And I'm like, no, we don't. And I'm like, oh shit. Then I was like, oh, okay. And I noticed, like, I didn't want to go to a meeting. I didn't. Oh my god, it was the last thing in the world that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I went. I tried everything else.
Yeah.
I'm very much the try everything type of addict.
Oh, yeah.
An alcoholic, where it's like, try all the other stuff, like buying things, trying to get into a relationship, going to the gym, working out. Like, all those things will make you feel better besides doing the actual work that you need to do.
Yeah.
So after a night of going to the gym, going to buy a new video game,
Yep.
at the store, and other shit at the store, and driving around, and like nothing filled that gap.
No.
And I was like, this still sucks. I still feel like shit. I still just want to learn how to, like, love myself again. And I didn't realize at the time that's what it was. So I went to the meeting, and I was like, all right, sat in the bag. They pulled me up front. They, gave me stuff to read, and they started making me feel a part of. And it was an amazing experience for me.
Is that the clean fellowship or the sober fellowship?
This is a clean fellowship.
Cool.
So I don't know how deep you guys want me to go with that whole.
Oh, dude,
okay.
no, either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever's up.
But yeah, like, so this is, I got clean fellowship. And it was like, I don't know what it was. It was just like, I liked the way I felt, and I still do to this day when I went to a meeting. I like the way, it's just like a feeling. And somebody explained it to me, or said it in a meeting, and it was really profound. And I love to steal profound shit and claim it for my own.
Of course.
100%.
He's talking about going to this meeting, and there was a guy that was going to the meeting he was deaf. So he would take his friend to the meeting, and somebody asked him after the meeting, like, I guess to his friend, so his friend could, sign it to him. Like, why do you go to meetings if you can't hear anything that's going on? Like, why the fuck do you go to a meeting? And I guess he said, like, because of the way it feels in that room.
Yeah.
The feeling that you get from being in there, and it's one of those unexplainable things. And I love that. I still, to this day, still get that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and I did it. I just did the thing. And I got into grad school. I started getting clean. Started, doing steps, started doing all that stuff, all the stuff that they suggested to me. I just was like, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to feel better, And the sooner I start doing all this stuff, the sooner I'm going to feel better. I got myself a sponsor. Really great guy. I need to touch base with him too. He's actually up in York right now. So,
Do I know him?
I don't think so.
Oh.
but yeah, he was my very first sponsor, and he had like 2 years at the time, and I related to him. Another like, you know, brainiac type guy, you know, try to think your way into sobriety, which is what I was like, yeah, I could do this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let me do that. But also somebody that like, he genuinely made me feel good about myself. I would sit on his couch and talk with him, and he would give you the realness, like this, like, you know, this is what you need to do, you know, this is what you're doing, this is where you're fucking up.
Yep.
But at the same time, he'd be like, but you're a genuinely good person, and you know, just make you feel worthwhile, I guess, you know, because for the longest time I was just like an alcoholic addict piece of shit. It just existed. I existed to consume drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't live, I existed. I wasted all the potential I had on that. I was like, I say this joke when I do institutions, and it doesn't really hit because I'm terrible at telling jokes, I feel like.
It's cool because you won't hear laughter from a podcast, so we'll assume this is a fucking banger.
This is a banger.
Yeah.
But I try, you know. I always wanted to do the comedy thing, but like, I just,
we all have.
I just don't have time to sit and write stuff.
No.
But so, like, I always wanted to be like the Tiger Woods of drinking, but now Tiger Woods is kind of like the Tiger Woods of drinking. You know, that's a terrible.
That's a solid fucking joke.
That works.
That's a solid.
Maybe
joke.
John Daly, but John Daly's doing it successfully. So
Yeah,
It's not Tiger.
Yeah.
yeah. And I used to. The funny thing is, I used to work with a guy at when I was counselor, and he wasn't in the fellowship or in the program or anything, and he was a normal guy. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna release a book called How to Drink Successfully. And I'm like, dude, this guy's he did it. It was a joke. He's obviously like, you know, like knows that you can't drink successfully.
Yeah.
You know, if you're an addict or an alcoholic. He's like, how to drink successfully. I'm like, and every day I'd see him, I'd be like, dude, how's that book coming, man? You know?
I'll be honest, that would probably hit.
Oh, yeah.
It would probably sell. Like a whole bunch of fucking addicts and alcoholics would be like, is this like for real?
Yeah. And he was like, his program was very simple. He was like, you know, you have a Coors Light or two. And I'd sit there and he'd be like joking around telling me this because you were just trying to pass the time at work. And you're hanging out with like 80, 90 newcomers at the same time, dude. Like, talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I got out of it.
Yeah.
Just for me, from personal experience, not something I suggest to the person that says like, hey, I want to be a drug and alcohol counselor.
Yeah, it's a tough job.
My response is going to be like, no, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it takes a special person for sure. And I, unfortunately, after 4 years of it, I was like, no, can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Just for my own sanity.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had those transitions in recovery where it's like I've had, you know, obviously I've transitioned fellowships.
I remember the last time I saw you at a clean fellowship meeting. It was great.
It was a mess.
It was fucking great.
That was a mess.
So
Yeah.
you were in my home group at the time, Wednesday night, and like I think you were secretary. Like,
I was.
Yeah, you were.
It's sad. I vividly remember this.
I was
too.
pretty sure. And I'm like sitting front row, and I don't know what happened or whatever, but you just like slam your fist on the table and you're like, fuck this. And you just get up and leave.
Yeah.
And never came back. And I was like, oh, is Shayna okay?
In the middle of
David
a meeting?
David checked on me. He's like, he's like, dude, are you coming to group? We're in the park. I was going through the parking lot. It's like, dude, are you going to group conscience tonight? I'm like, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
I know. Listen, like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know what happened.
Oh, man. I know what happened. It wasn't like anything. It wasn't the meeting or anything like this, but it was just like I was in a really weird transition phase at this point. I was just like I had just started transitioning jobs. This like right after Sharon and I broke up, and like everything was just like. And I'm living in like this. I was living in my old apartment, which was just like the dark basement apartment. Whereas like,
Oh, you had a garden unit.
At the time, it was great. I
yeah,
remember we
we had a lot of good times.
Hell yeah.
But Yeah, it was a crazy, and I was just like, and I think that's what kind of it really did prompt my my move over to the other fellowship. I just remember like I was secretary, and the speaker had come like from somewhere crazy, like a ways away. And like I must have counted like 10 or 15 people that like got up in the middle of the meeting and walked outside to smoke. It was like really nice out, and I'm just like, people are going outside to smoke, and like I don't know, I'm just like, when I got sober and clean in Pennsylvania, like it was very much like old school. Like very like, you sit your ass through the entire meeting, get the fuck off your cell phone. And now I'm like guilty as anyone to pull up my cell phone. Like, what's going on Instagram? Oh, sweet. You know? But, you know, it was very like, you get your coffee, you sit down, especially when you're new, you know, you get your coffee, sit down. And I don't know what, like I was at this point in my life, in my sobriety and in my recovery, I'm like looking for something to like completely ground me. Like when I go to, like, I couldn't get to a lot of meetings. So the meetings I went to, I wanted to like feel completely grounded. And I just remember like a lot of chaos, and like I just felt like on edge the entire time. I'm just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm out.
Fuck this. I'm out.
And it wasn't like a fuck you to anybody. It wasn't like, fuck you, David, I'm out. You know? Like, it was just like, well, the dude like drove like 45 minutes, and these people are just like in and out. And I'm like, I don't have like that compassion filter that I do now, you know, where it's like,
but no,
think about the other person.
That is a fucking dick move. Like, if you're in a fucking meeting, sit the fuck down. At least hear the person out and then go fucking smoke.
I understand that.
It sucks. But like,
but we have to look at the other person situation as well. They really need that
we don't
cigarette.
Know what
they're stressed out.
We don't know what they're going through.
That rain is really loud.
I didn't realize it was supposed to.
That rain got insane. Fuck. Oh, it's gonna flood. We're flooding. No, I'm kidding.
Well, we're close to Ellicott City, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just the place and space that I was in at the time. Very low tolerance, I guess, for any type of bullshit, which is just like so stupid, so self-righteous at this point. Too. But we all go through those phases.
Yeah, of course.
And but yeah, I started going to the sober fellowship, and I went to this meeting, which is actually my home group now, in Arbutus on Sunday nights, and I was like in love with it. Like just again, it wasn't so much of like what was being said, and like either fellowship you're in, there's gonna be some fuckheads. Like, I'm just gonna say that like as blunt as possible. Like, we're fucking crazy. And we're 100%. Just crazy. We're crazy fucking people trying to help each other out. And trying to understand each other. And for me to, and this is for me, but it's it's like for everybody. It's like for me to pass judgment on another person for what they're trying to do or what they're going through. I'm just another crazy motherfucker too. You know, when I at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I just home felt like home at that point. You know, and I don't think there's any issue like the job. Had to transition jobs. Home felt like home at that point, you know. And I'm not like, I hate the hardcore people that are like hardcore one way, hardcore the other. You know, and I like that. I was able to do that. Kind of I try to keep as much from both ends as possible.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The black and white people, I'm not down with it.
No, it, like. Any fellowship,
it's a turn off.
Whatever, whatever way you need to go. And like our previous speaker, Hoppy / Scott, he did both as well. Like, and he's done Gamers Anonymous and Gamblers. Like,
see, those are two that I need to do.
Because I
do. I have
numerous different fellowships that all deal with like the same root problem, which is addiction.
Do you have eye drops next to your computer?
No, I don't.
Okay, just curious.
You do, don't you, Eric?
I used to. when I played like too much Diablo.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
like Borderlands. I remember I was playing Borderlands for like 20 hours, like Borderlands 2, and like I was using like eye drop because my eyes were just getting so dry because it's just like,
right.
You know, you understand a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
You
get
can
it.
see
Yeah,
where
I
the
get
eye
it.
drops
Yeah.
would come in.
I used to get like that with like
Good lord.
playing Battlefield, but now it's like I feel
Battlefield
like
was great.
I'm like, all right, I did an 8-hour stream last weekend, and I was just like, that's enough.
Yeah,
That's a long stream.
That's a long fucking stream, bro.
But I'm also, I'm trying to get that up and running, and like just live life and do all that stuff. But yeah, gambling and gaming get me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. So much fun.
I think it's the 3 Gs: gambling, gaming, and girls.
and girls.
Yeah.
He answered your question.
I know we're kind of going into a few of my questions.
I know.
Actually.
Oh, sweet.
It's actually
Yeah.
fantastic.
Let's do questions from the panel.
Because you we let it off with like what led you to transition fellowships. That was my first question.
Right.
So it naturally happened.
Oh wow!
And then
this is such an organic Q&A.
Yeah, and then
I'm so
we
happy
just
about
answered
this.
our second one. So you said gaming. So gambling is a big one for you as well.
Gambling is huge.
So how many Powerball tickets did you buy?
I didn't buy any power. I'm not so much like that. I got.
That's not a fun addiction.
I'm gonna.
Like that's for me. That's like, hey, this might change my fucking life forever.
Right.
But if I'm at the roulette table, then I'm like, oh shit,
That's a social and fun experience.
fuck yes.
Table
Roulette.
games. So it's table games for you.
Table games, and so I'll tell this story too. This is about 2 or 3 years ago now. 2 or 3 years ago, I got really bad into online gambling, especially CS:GO skins.
Ooh.
CS:GO. Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude.
So when they were like hot, right?
They were. Yes, I
This
know.
was like-
My cousins were like super into CS:GO skins, and I was like,
Right.
that is the dumbest fucking thing.
Listen, no,
I
it's the
saw how
dumbest
much
thing
money
ever.
people were making off that shit, though. I was like, this is insane.
Oh yeah, like you see people, but the people that you see like on YouTube and stuff that are making money and like actually cutting a paycheck off of it are all sponsored, and they're not self-funded people.
Yeah.
And they're people that like they give them like $5,000 worth of free stuff. They tell them the odds, they rig it basically for them.
Fucks.
But like I was like way into it, and that's what I did, and like I did that and I'm when I'm talking like 14,000 in credit card
On skins.
on skins,
Whoa.
and like I had to like take a hard look at my life and be like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's some hardcore
Yeah,
compulsion right there.
That's where and like before I knew it, like somebody gave me a credit card for like $10,000, and I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I gotta hang on to this, and not max this credit card out. And like 2 months later, the fucker was maxed out.
Wow.
Just from that, and like that's the compulsion. That's what it is. But like luckily, like I'm trying to square. Like I destroyed my credit. I destroyed it. Like I was like down 400 credit. Yeah, dude.
CS:GO skins, man.
Because like you can sit at home and just sit there and click and gamble, and like I didn't have to drive. I still love the fucking casino though. Like I try to avoid it.
yeah.
I avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah, I need to, but like I was talking with my sponsor about it because we've talked about it on multiple occasions, and he's like the worst thing for the thing that all problem gamblers have. No, it wasn't my sponsor. It was my other friend who also has a very bad gambling problem and is in recovery. And he was like, the worst part about us, people with problem gambling addictions, is that we've all won big at one point or another.
Yep.
And that's what happened. Like I would
that
win
fucking
big.
come up.
Yeah.
That come
when
up.
you're on the
Oh
come
my
up.
God.
Like I walked out of the casino with
We're all going to
with
Cheesecake
couple
Factory.
grand,
Hell yeah.
I'm like walking out with this.
Did you just say we're all going to the Cheesecake Factory?
It's at
Yeah.
Arundel Mills. It's at Arundel Mills, and they got fantastic
So
cheesecake.
when you get your come up, you're like, all right, guys, we're going to Cheesecake Factory. Let's
I'm thinking
go."
about Bobby
Yes.
Flay's. Like
Oh,
I'm
fuck
like
Bobby
walking.
Flay.
I've never been there.
Oh, fuck Bobby Flay. I'm sorry, Bobby Flay, if you're listening, I'm a chef. Your fucking restaurant sucks.
But Cheesecake Factory is
They have fantastic cheesecake. I'm
They
not
do
saying
have
I'm buying
fantastic.
everybody entrees. I'm saying we're all having cake because
Yeah.
Shane's with me. Fucking cake all day, baby.
See, okay,
All day
so
cake.
You don't eat cheese. You don't have a say.
I
in
don't eat
this.
cheese. I've never
exactly.
Whoa.
I've never had the like. I think I've won at most like $500 off a scratch off, which like
That's
Yeah.
pretty solid.
$500 in like the scheme of life,
No, it's nothing.
it's nothing.
But
So
when you get that come up during the day, like you're fucking pumped.
but that was like I was like underage when I got that. I bought an arcade with it, and that's like
Wait,
That's
you
it.
bought what?
an arcade.
Nice.
What do you mean an arcade? Like an arcade game?
An arcade, yeah. What do you mean by that? Like an arcade? Do you know I have an arcade?
Like, are you talking about like Miss Pac-Man?
Yeah, I've Gauntlet.
Okay, yeah.
But at the time, I bought Pole Position too.
Okay.
But
Nice.
yeah, so I don't know. I don't understand it. Like I know it's a thing, and I understand
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and like all of that, and I can see how people fall into that hole of like, are you more dreaming about the idea of winning than actually?
Yeah.
That's what you're going after. You're chasing.
Yeah.
It's a feeling.
The feeling.
Yeah, you're chasing that that high you get because like when
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the table and I got a stack of chips in front of me, I feel like a big shot.
Yeah.
I feel.
I was
yeah,
just about to fucking ask that. Do you feel like a fucking whale?
just
Sometimes
like-
you roll in and be like, I'm about to fucking burn this place down.
Yeah, and
and
I'm
you
like-
writing me checks for months.
I play roulette, so I'll be hitting numbers like back to back to back to back to back, you know, and I'm like tipping the dealer. I'm like, yeah, have some money, and like it's like a party at the roulette table.
after this?
I kind of do.
Wow.
Not gonna
guys.
lie, I thought about it on the way home from work. I was like, I gotta do the podcast,
2
and then
addicts
just
alive.
like completely,
Yeah.
like just destroy any.
We'll call Brad after
semblance
this.
of
Brad will go
decency.
in a fucking
Well, Brad's been
heartbeat.
texting. He's been texting me about game night.
I know
so,
he wants
yeah.
to game. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
it's,
those are those things.
that's those are the things.
And then
You can
girls
see-
is- yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
See how animated this conversation got? That's
Your
addiction.
feeling. Yeah.
That was an addiction conversation, 100%. Like my
Yeah, I feel it.
I feel it. Like I'm like a little bit sweaty on the brow. Like my elevated heart rate. Like I am excited about fucking gambling. That's a problem.
That's a problem.
I have a problem.
Yes.
I definitely have a problem. I know that.
All right, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's 2 sayings in the 2 separate fellowships that are almost the exact same thing. And I want to hear if like there is a difference. So, in the sober fellowship, there is the moment of clarity, which sounds great. Like it sounds so much more positive. And then in the clean fellowship, you have the gift of desperation. Very similar ideas, very similar sayings. Is there a difference? Dead air.
I know, yeah, hold on. Too much dead air. Too much. Hold on. Let me talk. Let me. See, like that one job has my brain flipping because I think like initially I want to say like there's a difference.
Yeah.
It's like the gift of desperation sounds like
It sounds like grimier a little bit.
it sounds like it sounds grungy. It sounds like
Yeah,
I'm
like-
under the bridge.
Yes.
You know, like
Boiling denim.
yeah, like all my spoons are burnt. Like
Yeah.
it just sounds like hardcore.
Yeah, like a very visceral situation.
Yeah, and then moment of clarity seems just like
Like the
like I had
parting
a
of
great
the
idea.
clouds.
Yeah,
Yes.
like moment, but I equate that to like I don't know. I call both of it like a spiritual awakening. Those are what are spiritual awakenings to me.
Yeah.
I get those feelings from time to time, whether I'm sitting in a meeting, sitting at work, driving in the car, doing something with friends, where like the hairs in the back of my neck stand up, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I know I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at that time.
Yep.
That's a spiritual awakening to me. It's not like the clouds part. Like I've never had that experience where the clouds part and God speaks directly to me and he's like, this is what you're supposed to do and you'll be
Yeah.
okay. Like none of that's ever happened to me.
Nope.
It's all those little moments that have just been like, yeah, you're supposed to be where you are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a random question.
But yeah, I like that idea. And I was thinking about this on the way over. Like with the clean fellowship and the sober fellowship, there's one difference that just like I am like against when it comes to the sober fellowship because they talk about if you look at like how it works, it's like they talk about those unfortunates. There are such unfortunates,
Constitutionally incapable.
right? That are constitutionally, and then you have the other fellowship that's like any addict, an addict, any addict. And like, I'm fully on that, like anyone.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely anyone can change their life, get sober, get clean, completely find recovery, and get this thing.
Yeah. And ultimately lose the desire to use.
Right.
Like
I mean, it
that-
might take
that's-
like a long time. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Like, think about some people that, you know, over the years,
Yeah, some people never lose the desire to use,
But they keep coming
but
back.
still stay
Yeah.
clean. And then like,
or people who have the desire, but, you know, they keep fucking up. Like, I
Yeah.
can think of 2 people, like, immediately
oh,
that,
yeah,
you know, like,
100% right off the
they
top of my
keep
head.
coming back.
Yeah, it's amazing
Never
to watch
have more
that.
than 6 months clean, but they've been in meetings way more than I have the past however many years.
Yeah.
Like, can easily double or triple my meeting attendance.
It's crazy, and I can think about people that I like would see, and they couldn't even string together like a couple months.
Yeah.
And then like one day you're just like, what? You hear like an announcement like so and so is celebrating 3 years, and I'm like, that's you?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You know, you're just like,
I thought you looked like a pile of shit 8
Yeah.
days ago.
Like,
damn.
because it was like it doesn't like the timelines in the fellowship is just so weird. It's just like, you know, oh my god. It's like last year I was like celebrating 8 years, and I'm like, that's a lot of fucking time.
That's a
I
lot
was
of
like, that's
time.
a long time. I was like, I vividly remember the year of my first year. Vividly.
Oh yeah. I'm coming up on 6.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll be at 6 in 3 weeks. It's fucking
It's
nuts.
insane.
Back to Eric.
Back to 2
the
more
panel.
questions. So, since you have a background in substance abuse, and you've been in both fellowships, this is something that's always really bothered me and might piss people off that I'm even bringing it up.
I like it. It's controversial. Let's do it.
Yes.
So,
I'm all about the controversy.
when we're
Really
talking
hot.
about the term of addiction, okay?
Okay.
Now I feel like alcohol. Now we're gonna throw out codependence, and we're gonna throw out overeaters and that sort of stuff.
And
We're gonna
gamblers.
focus on we're
Drugs and
gonna focus
alcohol.
on the big 2, right?
Right.
So you have addicts and you have alcoholics. Why? Why isn't it just addicts? From a purpose of why does alcohol need to be separated from this conversation of addiction? You know, like I think like when we're talking about like the third tradition, like I had this I don't know, a few years ago, I was sharing about like this concept of, you know, maybe like especially when you're talking about people's desire, and it's like, well, maybe like people who shot dope and smoke crack should be in the front because their desire, like to use harder drugs, quantifies them to be in the front of the class, where the people who smoke weed should be in the back of the class because, you know, you're not really
Like, you're not there yet.
you're not there yet. So
You don't need the ICU.
and it's bad. Like, but like, you know, when you start taking different aspects out and you start singling out, you know, because you do have fellowship, you have cocaine and or you know, you have
Yeah,
all
I
that
never-
different stuff. I know meth is big in different areas, so you
Yeah,
do
chemical
break it down.
Dependence, yes.
Well, yeah, but that's more broad. But you have like marijuana and not like you have these
Yeah.
different
like
nicotine
Cocaine Anonymous is huge in like
Yeah.
Florida
I read
and
the
out
book.
west.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's fine, but like, why do you think that's like? I don't know. I just think everyone should be grouped together. I see it from like
No,
a
I agree.
perspective of like, I have friends who, you know, have a bigger background in alcohol than drugs, or, you know, like kind of like your story where it's like opiates and alcohol.
Yeah.
But like, I can see how like when I go to like, you know, a sober meeting, how they can relate more to that than to like being a junkie, even though, you know, their last run was like really bad with dope. But like the way they drink, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's and because of my story and the way like my background is, like and being having been part of both fellowships and not really considering it like taking sides, you know?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm more saying like,
Yeah.
why can't everyone be together?
Open debate.
Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like everyone has an issue with a substance. Why can't people be in the same conversation?
You know,
Right?
I think a lot of it has to do with honestly the history.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with like, oh man, it's really weird because the way that, you know, the Clean Fellowship branches out and the way, you know, that you know, the sober fellowship came to be, and how it kind of like, it's weird. There's nobody, like basically now in the sober fellowship that's all they did was drink.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like a hybrid. And if you read the book, like, dude, Bill and Bob were popping pills, man. Like they were doing drugs.
Isn't there a whole like acid phase that Bill went through? Right?
There was a whole acid phase, and like, it's crazy. But like, you look at that, and you like people put like Bill and Bill Wilson like way up on this pedestal, and it's like he's just kind of a fucking sleazy drunk, man. Like,
Well,
that had a good idea.
I've been realizing Jimmy K has been like getting propped up.
Yeah,
more and more over
Jimmy
the
K
years.
is getting up there for
he?
sure.
Like
for
more and more
for the clean fellowship.
But
I think like kind of like the way that things branched off, and like the way people perceive it too. Maybe even like it's weird. And you like even like in memes, like people like there's such a hard separation on those fellowships for some reason.
so I mean,
And like
It's like a bitter rivalry.
yeah, and it's like, dude, it's not even like that. Like,
Yeah. But like
you know,
it is, but it isn't.
It is, but it's not. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I don't know.
Realistically, like everybody here in this room and pretty much all the guests we've had on here are destroying the
microphone.
Pop
the
filter.
fucking microphone
This
tonight.
fucking pop filter.
Pop filters. No, every guest we've had here, we're all very pro whatever it takes. Like whatever it takes to stay clean, get clean. Like maybe your story's rehab or IOP or jail or whatever, or just bottoming out in your own closet. Like we don't give a fuck. What matters is that you're trying to help yourself and other people get another day clean and sober. So like by all means, like whatever fellowship is chosen, stick with it.
Yeah.
Fucking A. Like whatever is working for you, if it's eating 3 bananas a day and that's keeping you sober, load up on potassium, motherfucker. Banana it down. But like whatever. Just the fact that somebody's not shooting dope, guzzling fucking Bacardi and Jaeger. Like whatever your like shit was and you're beyond it now, by all means. God bless.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, and that's why, like, I go to like a clubhouse up in Westminster, and they have like, you know, heroin anonymous. They have like cocaine anonymous. I'm just like, just bring us all together. Like, I'm cool with that. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
like I just want to be, you know, and the clean sober thing. Like, stay clean, stay sober, and it's like, just don't fucking get high or drunk.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like be in recovery, and that's why I think still to this day, like I'm grateful for the experiences that I've had in both, but like I'm grateful for that experience in the clean fellowship, because it's like it's an all-encompassing first step, and it's an all-encompassing take on addiction as a whole, you know. And I think like I turned kind of like the blind eye to like, you know, the sober
division.
fellowship is all about drinking. No.
Yeah.
No. Like I have a disease here that's being treated. I did nice doggy. I have a disease that's being treated, and it's everything.
Yep.
You know, it really is. Because and I don't know where it would take me. You know,
Oh yeah.
if I went and had a drink, if I went and had a drug tonight, I don't know where I'd go. You know, like where, like I can't say that for certain. It would be bad.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I know that.
But
Or
like,
nothing would happen at all.
right, or nothing would happen, and then they'd come back, and then be like, oh, nothing happened.
That's
Yeah.
that's even worse idea.
But I'm focused. I think in a lot of the transition, too, was focused on like development personally, and like what I needed at the time, but also like, you know, the goal is the same. It's lose that desire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Find a new way. For me, it's a spiritual thing as well.
Yep.
And you know, our purpose is not to just get clean and sober and be clean and sober. It's to get clean and sober. You know, and for me, I'm going to say for me, find a power greater than myself, develop a relationship with a power greater than myself, and use and go out and help somebody.
Eric didn't.
We need a
All
knock,
three
a knock counter.
Yep, we all three
My
hit the
bad,
fucking
guys.
pop filters tonight.
It's late, y'all. Like,
It's awesome.
oh, man.
But yeah, that's what it is for me. Like I don't like the separation. I don't like,
Yep.
and I never did.
No.
Because like I would work in places that were heavy sober fellowship, and then like
Yeah.
I'd be the only person in the clean fellowship, but I'd rep it, man.
Oh yeah.
Rep it to death.
Hell yeah.
I went to that place. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know what it's like now. I've been gone there for 4 years, almost 5 years. I don't even know.
That's
'cause
a
I know
really
there's
long time ago.
A
Weird.
lot of change. Yeah, it's great, and that
Weird.
was the transition time too.
So you've done half and half, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Interesting.
You have a final question?
He wants to know the nitty gritty. He's got the
No.
nitty gritty questions.
No, I mean, like the other the question. So we have like the manifestation of addiction, which you answered. The other question I'm trying to do like weekly is the step question. So you've gone through all 12 steps,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So what step would you? And don't give me the bullshit answer of like, well, all steps are important in my recovery.
Yeah, they're all-
of course they are. Like, but what step do you feel you utilize most during your day? Obviously 10 is kind of the like correct answer, but what step do you like?
Whoa.
The correct answer is
It should be the
10.
correct answer. Should
It
be.
is a correct answer.
It's a correct answer. I mean, you can
no
do
wrong
1, 2,
answer.
whatever. You can do all of them.
There's no wrong.
10's the answer I like, in that's the answer I like.
the Eric preferred answer.
Yes, that's my preferred answer. But what?
You don't eat cheese. What the fuck do you know?
And cheese is supposed to like activate the same chemicals in your brain as drugs do.
Yeah.
That's why I fucking love cheese.
Hell yeah.
I could never do
Pound
vegan,
that.
man.
Fuck no.
I could never do it.
It's not a thing.
I could never do
It
it.
just was. That
What's
pound
your
that.
favorite step? That's the real question.
What is my favorite,
step?
What's your favorite step?
Holding up 3 all day.
He held it up, but
Is-
that's what I was going to say. I was going to
3?
say the third step. It was the most profound step in my life.
Yep.
Like I can just remember where I was when I was
100%.
doing the third step. I tie my, like even 7 and 10, I tie back to 3.
Yep.
That step, like, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Excuse me. I'm getting emotional. No, I'm just joking. No, but that's a very important, because after I do the first step, which is literally the only step I have to do perfect, I have to remember I'm not the actor and director. Like, I'm not the end all be all. I'm not and it's not even just like accepting like God, and the G word, and like, I know. Just like, I just want to make people cringe, but like, God.
Yeah.
I feel a certain type of way now.
Oh no. But no, and that's not like anything. I don't mean to make anybody uncomfortable with that. But it's just,
No.
but it I don't know. It's very important to me to know that this is there's something looking out for me, whether that be the fellowship, whether that be my sponsor, the people in my network, and that I don't have to be perfect.
Yep.
And I can bring it back to a 10 step. I can bring it back to,
So is the perfection part, is that step 3 or is that step 7 for you? Because I don't know, just personally, I feel like step 7 is like just more or less accepting that you're human and that you're going to fuck up.
Agree. 6 and 7 is very much like that. And then I replace in 7, I like to replace the word humbly with realistically.
Yeah. Because,
Because if I don't do it realistically, if I'm like, hey, Mr. Higher Power, sir, can you get rid of all my shortcomings right now, please? That's not realistic.
No.
Because people are like humbly, they think humiliation, they think all the stereotypical things that people think. They're like, what am I going to like, go to confession and all this other stuff? It's like, no, just have a realistic view on yourself.
Yep.
You're not all good, you're not all bad. And these things aren't going to be removed tomorrow.
Yep.
Like, it's really, they're not.
Well, I mean, they might just lay dormant. They might not be removed.
It's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
it realistically is a better way of understanding, like, the shortcomings.
Right.
You know, because, I mean, anyone who thinks that you're just going to, I mean, it's like pray it away. Like,
No.
I don't know.
It's not going to work.
I should have hit you guys with like I don't work steps.
Oh, no.
I apply the principles in my daily
Oh,
life.
I like it.
That's so.
I like
Somebody
it.
told me that one time. That was another profound thing that I stole from somebody. He's like, I was like, well, you know, have you worked the steps? He's like, I don't work steps, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I
weird.
told that dude to shove it up his ass.
I almost
I'd be
did.
like, fuck off.
Almost did, and he's like, no, I apply the principles to my life, and I'm like,
Yeah, fucking guy. This fucking guy. No, but like the way I've had it to like explain to me, because I need shit boiled down to like its simplest terms a lot of times.
same.
With like the character defects and our assets, goes with like the inventory of the fourth, and like the way it got broken down for me is like just like the basic inventory in your fucking refrigerator. Guess what? Shit goes bad. Like not everything is gonna be there forever. Like those eggs, that milk, like you gotta trade that shit in, buddy.
I always have good intentions, man.
Yeah.
I go to the store. You know what's never gonna be there? It's like the avocados and the lettuce that I buy. I'm like, I'm gonna buy lettuce because I'm gonna make so many salads this week. The fucking bag goes bad and I haven't even opened it. All right, it just sits in my crisper and it dies. It's basically like a cemetery for fresh veggies.
You bring shit into yourself as the human refrigerator that you are with good intentions, and it goes rotten.
Right.
It goes sour. So you got to remove the shit. You got to constantly do inventory of that refrigerator. What's still good? What's still bad? What needs to be thrown out? What needs to be eaten immediately?
And I like that because, and we just did a 10-step meeting last week at my home group. And, you know, everybody's like, when they think about doing an inventory, they're like, I'm gonna like inventory, I'm just gonna like go through all the dirt and the bad stuff. And it's like, no, dude, when a store does an inventory, they don't just look at like, oh, what did we lose, you know? Like what, you know, they look at it from a perspective too, is like, what was hot?
Yeah.
You know, like what's good? What are these good assets that I have? So I got to look at those too and be like, all right, you know, I did really good in this. Like, we deserve a fucking pat on the back sometimes, man.
Those Abercrombie thongs flew off the shelves.
Yeah.
That was great. We need to buy more of that shit.
I'm a big fan of thongs. Just gonna put that out there.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all? No, we're not. Eric, anything else?
No, I think that was good.
That was it?
Yeah.
Wrap it up with the Abercrombie thongs?
Sure.
Abercrombie.
That's a good end point.
Why don't we close it down there?
I don't even know. If that's
I appreciate you guys having me on. I was saying to David, like, it's freaking awesome that you guys are doing this.
We appreciate that. Yeah,
This is really awesome, and I'm really jealous I didn't have this idea.
Me too. I'm riding Eric's coattails 100%.
David's like, do you want to come out and do a podcast? I was like, that's one thing I've wanted to do for years.
Yes.
Like,
Podcast,
yes, I
what's
do.
up right now?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Twitch is right around the Twitch is there too.
Hey,
though.
I'm trying to
Twitch
get
is
there.
too, man.
I'm trying to get. I'm not going to plug my channel.
You can plug your channel.
Twitch.tv/Viva La Dunk.
There
Come
you
on
go.
out, give us a follow.
Love
There
it.
it is.
We're all about the positivity. We're jokes.
100%.
Jokes, positivity, and video games.
Hell yeah.
There it is.
Thank you for letting me plug that.
Absolutely.
Fucking right, man.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, we'd like to thank our guest Shane for joining us today. Cue the clap track. Oh, that's the best clap track we've had so far.
claps.
2 claps. Fantastic. All right. Well, here at Podcast Recovery, we are aiming to expand the scope of support for recovering addicts. Accessibility and convenience of helpful services is paramount to combating addiction. We work to bring the message of recovery to every addict and alcoholic, wherever and whenever it is needed. We believe that a powerful voice of recovery should be obtainable, practical, and at the touch of a button. Every addict and alcoholic deserve to hear a message of hope, and Podcast Recovery is here to provide it. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Eric. It was a great night.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, man.
Any
It's
last
great.
words, buddy?
Just keep doing the thing.
Absolutely. Fucking A. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, invite your friends, subscribe to us on your podcast apps.
Yeah,
Go
do
to
all that shit.
podcastrecovery.com. Everybody, have a great night.
Like, comment, and share.
Like, comment, and share. There it is. Stay safe, stay clean.